Hey y'all, this is Lydia. This is a Mayan cross reading for today, September 29th of 2021. And the galactic signature for today is the red electric moon, which deals with change. It deals with being in a flow and movement, but it also is very much about receptivity, which is fitting because the sun is at 6 degrees of Libra today, which that 6th degree is the degree ruled by Libra. It deals with balance, but also deals with that Venusian energy of being open and receptive in our divine feminine side. So our psychic energies, our intuitive awareness, and being wide open to that, we can definitely receive inspired ideas today, or just information or clarity on some things, because there is this energy again with the 6 trying to bring us back into balance. And that's being supported by Saturn, which is at 6 degrees of Aquarius retrograde. And then I do believe that Mercury retrogrades from an intuitive Piscean 25 degrees of Libra into a Grandmaster step of 24 degrees of Libra, which is that 4 and that 2 add to a 6, which is also knowing where our feelings belong and feeling into where our heart belongs and receiving information and intuitive guidance and inner guidance as to what sort of needs some tweaking if we're feeling out of balance, if we've been feeling sort of teetering, what do we need to do, and what sort of information is coming in to help us get back into a flow, because that electric energy wants us to be in a flow. It's about movement. It's about natural, innate, nature-based change. This change that happens because we're a part of nature, and this natural order that nature abides by is also a natural order that we can abide by, but we have free will. But when we're in divine alignment, we sort of go into that flow naturally. And that 6-degree sun on one hand can have us feeling that natural flow, or on the other hand, it could actually have us feeling that we're not in flow, and perhaps there's information trying to reach us with the red moon, trying to download some information for us to be able to move forward and to get back into balance. And the awareness for today is Venom, which is dealing with self-realization through suffering and really seeing the wisdom behind our challenges, and knowing that within the venom, or rather within the antidote, is the venom. And what we are experiencing, and perhaps unpleasant things we're experiencing, isn't to work against us, but rather to cure something, to help us apply some healing to something. And when challenges come up, ultimately it's to get us to a higher place by working through that shadow. And we can't work through it if we're denying it or if we're resisting it. But when we really tap in and see the wisdom behind our challenges and move through them, knowing that when we get through them, we'll be stronger and more ourselves than ever before, it makes the journey easier. Certainly a challenge will always be a challenge, but our perception really plays a big part here. And Libra is an air energy dealing with our intellect and our perceptions, and really seeing the world and seeing our experiences in a different way, which also helps us get back into balance, because perhaps we're not so much in judgment, because that's the shadow side of Libra, is judgment. Our subconscious self for today is the village, moving on to new territory, moving out of the old and into unknown territory, and being open to the magic there that lies there. There is a sense here too of perhaps some of us are in situations that have run their course, or we feel trapped, and we're feeling the need to break into something new. But in order to do that, we need to step out of the village, step out of what we've always known, and into the unknown, and go into the forest. And again, be open to the magic of the shadow, and also that primordial creative energy of the unknown, of darkness. If you think back on pretty much any creation story from any culture, it deals with creation coming out of nothing, or creation coming out of the darkness, or this idea of the lotus, a beautiful flower being born out of the dark mud. And so the village beckons us to step out, and perhaps we're getting those intuitive nudges. This is the hidden helper saying, like, if we want change, we actually have to be willing to step into some unknown territories, because when we make changes to our lives, we don't always know that where we're going is, what it looks like, what it's going to feel like. And that can be a hindrance to some of us. But we're being encouraged to step out and to trust that when we leave our comfort zone and we leave familiarity, we open up to more possibility, to endless possibility. And this also taps into our belief structures and perhaps some shadow aspects. Maybe we believe if we don't know where we're headed, and if we step into the unknown, bad things will happen. But we're being sort of called to confront that, so that we can get out of whatever is keeping us in old stagnant energy, or perhaps feeling like we're a big fish in a small pond and it's time to move into new territory. But perhaps there's some things we need to work through in order to step out fully. And our guide for today is the forest, which is what happens when you leave the village. The village is about stepping into the forest. So this deals with light and dark, and being okay with the light and the dark, and getting so lost in this primordial darkness that we are there long enough to really tap into the magic. Even in my own healing journey, I've been at this for over 2 years now. And there was times for a long period of time where, these energies kept coming up for me to deal with. And I had to be in that energy for an extended period of time before I could actually tap into the magic of what I was actually creating. And I'm still in that energy now. I'm still in unknowns, but I'm more comfortable here and I see the magic here. And really, my anxiety is gone, stress is gone, and being in that natural flow, that electric energy, has been such a blessing. And we're being invited to step out again. This is the guide for today. This is guiding us into unknown territories so that the divine can show us just how magical life can be. And our challenge for the day is gnosis, which is us in our inner knowing, in our divine knowing. This is a claircognizant energy, this idea of trusting that we actually have the answers we need and that we don't need to seek outside of ourselves. And also the challenge of actually taking that time to look within, taking that time to be still and be with ourselves long enough to really see what's out of balance and needs to be brought into balance, or really sit with energies that are making us uncomfortable and really questioning them and feeling them and using that charged energy to apply healing. There's this idea within the Mayan system that when we have a shadow aspect, let's say a judgment around something, that if we were to actually sit with that energy and tap into it and really feel it and let it wash over us, that catalyzes a healing, because we use that charged energy to sort of break it free and to break it out so that we can integrate it and sort of also break down any sort of blockages we have. Which brings me to Qigong as well, Qigong coming to mind, which, and I don't know if anyone out there has tried it or knows what it is, but if you feel that there's some blocked energy within you, I highly recommend hopping on YouTube and looking at some Qigong videos and doing the movements. It really does work when coming to unblocking stuck energy. And again, it is that energy too of unblocking within us and doing it ourselves and using what powers and what tools we have for ourselves to move us forward. And the compliment for today is the poet, trusting where we're led, trusting the information that's coming in to take us where we're meant to go. And, a good exercise for this is really paying attention to repeating messages. If you're getting the same thought over and over again, or the same sort of information over and over again, really following it and seeing where it leads and trusting that wherever it's headed, it is for our highest good, and it is an intuitive guidance that is ultimately trying to get us into a natural flow, into that electric energy. So definitely be open today. That 6th degree and that having that soul harmonic of the 6 degrees is really having us wide open and open-minded and open-hearted. And it's sort of this gateway we can use to really receive perhaps information that has been hitting us, but we haven't been hearing it because we've been in too much noise or too much static or distraction. If you can take time to be still today for even a few minutes, you might be surprised. And don't judge the stillness. Definitely just be still for a moment, let your mind clear for a moment, and be present for a moment. And then trust that information can also come later, because it often does for me as well. I meditate and I meditate regularly, but I find that my downloads come when I'm not actively in a meditation. So I hope this message resonates. Sending love and wishing you well.